What if I told you that the real reason most people fail has nothing to do with talent, luck, or even hard work? The truth is, most people never learn to lead the one person who matters most, themselves. Before you're a boss, before you're a parent, before you ever try to lead a team, a company, a movement, there's one battlefield you have to conquer first. Your inner world. Simon Sinek once said, "Before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself." And Jordan Peterson reminds us, you have to start by cleaning your room before you try to reorganize the world. Let that sink in. No one gets to skip the inside work. See, real leadership, the kind that lasts, that builds trust, that changes lives, doesn't begin with charisma or motivation. It begins with order, ownership, emotional maturity, clear principles, purpose, and energy. These are the 6 inner laws followed by the world's most grounded, influential, and fulfilled leaders. They're the invisible forces behind the resilience of a Navy SEAL, the clarity of a world-class CEO, the emotional control of a gold medalist, the soul drive of an Oscar-winning actor. And the reason most people never reach their potential? They ignore these laws. Or worse, they don't even know they exist. But by the end of this video, you will. Each of these laws is backed by science, reinforced by lived experience, and grounded in the insights of thinkers like Sinek, Peterson, Huberman, Sharma, Leaf, Chopra, and more. And they apply to you, right now, no matter your job title, background, or starting point. Because leadership always starts inside. If you're ready to stop outsourcing your power and start living from the inside out, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Laws 1 and 2. Personal order and radical ownership of the self. Leadership always starts inside. And that means starting with order. Before any lasting success, before any kind of outer leadership, there must be internal alignment. Jordan Peterson puts it bluntly, if you can't even clean your room, don't try to fix the world. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking control of the small things, your habits, your space, your schedule, your thoughts. Because if your inner world is a mess, your leadership will be too. That's the first inner law. Personal order precedes external leadership. No one embodies this like Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL commander. Every morning, Jocko posts a photo of his watch 4:30 a.m. Why? Because discipline builds structure. Structure creates freedom. It's not about waking up early. It's about deciding your day before the world decides it for you. Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, learned this the hard way. She was failing as a teacher. Her students weren't learning. So she went back to the basics, studied human behavior, built systems, structured her own routine. The result? A framework that changed education, psychology, and millions of lives. Because chaos doesn't magically turn into clarity. It turns into more chaos unless you decide to lead yourself through it. Let that sink in. You can't organize chaos if you're a chaos. Now take a breath and ask yourself, how much internal order do you really have? The second law? It's even tougher. Radical ownership of the self. This is where most people check out. Because it means no more blaming, no more excuses, no more outsourcing your problems to your past, your boss, your parents, your circumstances. Jordan Peterson says, you don't get to choose not to pay a price. You only get to choose which price you pay. That's what Matthew McConaughey realized at the peak of his career. He was the king of romantic comedies. But he was stuck. He wanted deeper roles, respect. So he said no to everything. For 18 months, Hollywood turned its back on him. He took ownership of his image, his craft, his life. Then came Dallas Buyers Club, an Oscar, a new chapter on his terms. Or take Kobe Bryant. Early in his career, he made mistakes, big ones. But he didn't hide. He didn't blame. He locked in, trained harder, studied longer. He rebuilt trust through consistency, humility, and accountability. And that's what this law is really about. Not just owning your wins, but your failures, your flaws, your mess. Because you can't change what you don't take responsibility for. Simon Sinek said it best. The best leaders own the failure first. It's not about guilt, it's about power. The power to say, this is mine, and if it's mine, I can change it. So here's your moment to pause and reflect. What area of your life are you still blaming someone else for? Be honest, because nothing changes until you do. And leadership, always, starts inside. Laws 3 and 4. Mastering emotional response and clarity over chaos. Leadership always starts inside. And once you've built some order and taken ownership, it's time to deal with the storm. Because what good is a clean room and a strong will if your emotions hijack you the moment things get hard? That brings us to the third inner law, mastering emotional response. Jordan Peterson says it clearly. A person who can't control their temper is a slave to it. Most people react, fast, defensive, automatic. But real leaders don't react. They respond. Sinek explains it best. When things go wrong, the leader stays calm. That calm builds trust. And science backs it up. According to Dr. Andrew Huberman, simple practices like controlled breathing and narrowing your vision can switch your brain from panic mode into a state of focus control. Your nervous system calms down. Your judgment comes back online. It's not magic. It's biology. And it's learnable. Look at Dwayne Johnson, one of the most recognizable faces on Earth, now known for calm, control, and discipline. But earlier in his life, he struggled with depression, anger, and instability. He learned to lead himself through emotional storms, not by suppressing his feelings, but by mastering how he responded to them. Or take Naomi Osaka. At the height of her career, she chose to step back from competition to protect her mental health. She taught millions that leadership isn't always pushing through. Sometimes it's pausing, listening to what your inner world is trying to tell you, and responding with courage. Now take a moment. Think about the last time you overreacted. What did it cost you? Your peace? Your credibility? A relationship? That's why emotional regulation isn't optional. It's foundational. Because if you can't lead your nervous system, you won't lead anything else for long. Let's go deeper. The fourth law is the compass that guides your response. It's called clarity over chaos, thinking in principles. Jordan Peterson reminds us, you must determine how you will act before the crisis arrives. And Sinek builds on this. If you don't know your values, someone else will define them for you. This law is about choosing your principles before the pressure hits. Because when stress shows up, you fall back on what you've practiced, not what you wish for. Sharma, in his work with CEOs and elite performers, speaks about his 5 daily anchors, small habits that ground you in who you are, so that no matter how loud the world gets, your decisions stay aligned. Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, is a walking example of this law. Known for his calm and unshakable integrity, he famously refused to compromise Apple's stance on privacy, even when facing government pressure. His principle: protect the user. No exceptions. Then there's Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. When he took over, the company was rigid and crumbling inside. But instead of firing blindly or chasing numbers, he started with empathy. He rebuilt the culture around listening, humility, and curiosity. His principles weren't slogans. They were his playbook. This law is about deciding who you are every day before life decides for you. So here's your moment of reflection. What are your non-negotiables? What do you stand for when no one's watching? If you don't define it, chaos will. And once again, let's bring it home. Leadership always starts inside. Laws 5 and 6, purpose-driven identity and sustainable inner energy. Leadership always starts inside. And once you've brought your mind into order, once you've taken full responsibility, mastered your emotions, and aligned your actions with clear principles, there's still something deeper. Something that fuels it all. It's called purpose. That's the fifth inner law, purpose-driven identity. You're not a title, not a resume, not a to-do list. You're a human being with values, dreams, pain, and potential. Jordan Peterson teaches that we all need a load, a responsibility so meaningful it gives weight to our life. Without it, we drift. We self-destruct. But with it, we rise. Sinek says, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And that's not just branding. That's biology. Because when your actions are powered by purpose, your motivation stops depending on mood. It becomes sustainable. Dr. Deepak Chopra explains that when you align your daily actions with your soul's calling, you create spiritual coherence. You stop chasing energy and start generating it from within. Look at Tyler Perry. Abused as a child, homeless for a time. But he found purpose in storytelling, not just to entertain, but to heal. He turned his pain into a mission, building an empire from the inside out. Or take Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks. He didn't just sell coffee. He fought to build a company where workers had dignity, benefits, and a sense of belonging. His business wasn't just strategy, it was service. Purpose gives you identity. It anchors you when storms come. It answers the question, why keep going? So, here's yours. What mission makes your struggle worth it? Pause and think. Because without purpose, performance always burns out. And that brings us to the final law, sustainable inner energy. This is the most misunderstood one. Because everyone talks about time management, productivity hacks, hustle culture. But very few ask, how's your soul doing? Let's be real. You can plan your calendar down to the minute, but if your inner battery is drained, nothing works. Peterson says burnout isn't just about working too much, it's about working without meaning. Sinek adds that true resilience doesn't come from caffeine and deadlines, it comes from alignment. Dr. Wayne Dyer puts it perfectly. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You have to become the kind of person whose energy renews itself, not by escaping, but by returning to what matters. Tom Brady is a great example. He didn't play 20-plus years at the top by accident. His discipline, his routines, his alignment with purpose gave him more than stamina. It gave him clarity and drive, long after others burned out. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford speech, reminded us that remembering death can be the best way to remember what matters. He lived with intensity because he aligned with legacy. And then there's Chadwick Boseman. He filmed Black Panther while silently battling cancer. Most people didn't even know. But he knew his purpose, and that gave him energy beyond explanation. Even Chris Evans and Emma Stone, both known for choosing mental well-being over constant work, remind us protecting your energy isn't weakness. It's wisdom. So here's your moment. Where's your energy going? Is it leaking into things that drain you or flowing into what sustains you? Take a breath. Because this final law isn't about managing your schedule, it's about managing your soul. And it brings us back one last time to the truth. Leadership always starts inside. So, here we are. You've just explored 6 powerful inner laws, each one a hidden pillar behind the world's most resilient, fulfilled, and authentic leaders. Not influencers, not managers, but real leaders, the kind who change families, teams, cultures, and lives. And what do they all have in common? They don't wait for permission. They don't chase approval. They lead from the inside out. They create personal order, even when the world feels out of control. They take radical ownership, even when it's easier to blame. They respond instead of react, holding space when others explode. They choose principles over pressure and truth over trends. They lead with purpose, not ego. And they protect their inner energy like their life depends on it, because it does. Jordan Peterson said, "Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today." Simon Sinek reminds us, leadership is a choice, not a rank. So today, the choice is yours. You can keep waiting for motivation, perfect conditions, or someone to show you the way. Or you can step up right now, no matter where you are, and lead the one person you're fully responsible for. You. Because that's where it always begins. With how you think, how you act, how you choose. And if anything you heard in this video hit you deep, if something shifted inside, then do something simple but powerful. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop in the comments, which of the 6 laws are you ready to live starting today? Not for the algorithm, but for the movement. For the ripple effect that starts when one person decides to lead themselves fully. And as you go back into your world, carry this truth with you. Leadership always starts inside.
Hey, incredible growth seekers. Wow, what a journey. If this video resonated, subscribe now for more life-changing content. Join our community of self-improvers. Smash that like button to fuel more content on mindfulness, goal setting, and emotional intelligence. Share this video to create a ripple of positive change. Comment below about your growth journey. Your insights shape our content. Next week, boosting self-confidence and overcoming limiting beliefs. Don't miss it. Every interaction brings us closer to a world of empowered individuals. Let's make personal development global. Stay inspired, keep growing. Your best self awaits. Let's unlock it together.